Idols are known for their poise and politeness, but even the sweetest stars have limits. From stalkers to straight-up disrespectful behavior, these idols reached a breaking point and couldn't help but snap back. Let's start with Changmin's Taxi Showdown. Imagine a teenage Max Changmin of TVXQ, one of K-pop's biggest early 2000s groups, is trying to head home when an overzealous fan literally jumps into his taxi before he can. TVXQ's Sasang fans were infamously extreme to the point that they'd hire taxis to chase the boys' vans and even cause accidents just to stop them. For young Changmin, it was daily chaos. Eventually he snapped, and it was caught on camera. In a leaked clip that became legendary, Changmin yanks a female fan out of the taxi by her jacket, dumps her onto the street, and furiously paces with adrenaline. He even berated the taxi driver for aiding the stalkers. To say that the K-pop community was shocked would be quite an understatement. Some argued he went too far by physically removing the girl, but many others said, can you blame him after years of being chased, filmed, and even once being hit with a bag of rocks by fans? Controversial or not, Changmin's Taxi Showdown showed that even the kindest idols have a breaking point. That poor fan learned the hard way. If you invade Changmin's space, you might just get dumped on the curb, no autograph included. Then there was Lee Tuk's home intruder warning. Super Junior's leader Lee Tuk is usually an angelic MC and sweet dad figure to fans, but when repeat intruders violated his home, he had no choice but to fight back in the ways he could. In April 2025, Lee Tuk shocked everyone with an Instagram story revealing that a Sasang had broken into his house again. This was the second offense, and he was done playing nice. Lee Tuk wrote, "It's shocking that we still have crazy Sasang fans like this. This is already the second time. If it happens again, I will reveal your identity and report you to the police." Fans were horrified on his behalf because someone literally tried to invade Lee Tuk's own home. His stern post, calling the trespasser crazy and threatening police action, was equal parts justified and iconic. Lee Tuk basically said, "I see you, and next time the world will too." Can you imagine being that Sasang reading his IG story? Pure panic. Support poured in for Lee Tuk's response, with elves urging him to stay safe and please call the cops ASAP. After years of enduring privacy invasions, with some Super Junior members even having phone numbers sold by fans before, Lee Tuk's public warning was a wake-up call. He proved that even the most patient idol won't hesitate to clap back when their safety is on the line. If you like getting to know more about your favorite idols backstage, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. But nothing compares to how Yuta flipped off a fan who was seriously crossing his boundaries. Yuta from NCT 127 made headlines when he delivered perhaps the most badass gesture to stalkers in K-pop history. In a resurfaced video from 2020, Yuta is returning to NCT's dorm only to find the usual gaggle of Sasaengs lurking. This time, he wasn't having it. He storms out of his car, confronts the stalker crew, and straight up says, "Get lost." Then, for good measure, he flashes a middle finger as he walks inside. The audacious move sparked debate, but also high praise from fans and the public alike. Many fans felt a rush of pride seeing Yuta stand up for himself, with one user writing, "It's about time idols tell these creeps off." The Sasang in question apparently tried to play innocent. She laughed nervously and chirped, "Have a good day," to which Yuta responded with that glorious one-finger salute. The incident hit the internet, and instead of siding with the fan, everyone was cheering Yuta on. Even commentators said his response was refreshing and justified. After enduring stalkers who camp outside, follow their every move, and even slap tracking devices on idols' cars, a hearty FU was the least they deserved. Yuta's message was loud and clear. Some fans need to back off, or they'll get a reality check courtesy of an irate idol. But Hwang Renjun of NCT Dream took a more verbal approach when a so-called fan slithered into his private messages. In April 2024, Renjun shocked fans by exposing a text exchange he had with a stalker who mysteriously got his number. This person wasn't just invading privacy, they had the nerve to insult idols too. The Sasang ranted that idols have it way too easy, making money left and right, their live performances are terrible, they're thoughtless, even griping that idols date too freely. Instead of ignoring it, Renjun decided to clap back hard and publicly. He shared the screenshots on the Bubble app and let everyone see his fitting reply. To the haters' long rant, Renjun coolly wrote, "Don't hide and type like a rat. If you have something to say, talk to my lawyer." He then schooled them further. Idols are also human and feel hardships. Learn how to calm down. Don't take out your anger on people. Fans went wild over Renjun's unexpected sass. The phrase "talk to my lawyer" became an instant classic meme in the fandom. It's not every day you see an idol call someone a rat and threaten threaten legal action in the same breath. Additionally, Renjun turning the tables by publicizing the convo also sent a message: your harassment will be exposed. Moral of the story: if you slide into Renjun's DMs with hate, be ready to get dragged straight to court. Even global superstars BTS aren't immune to stalker fans, but member V decided to address it head-on. During a casual V live stream, V opened up about how uncomfortable it is when certain fans book themselves on the same flights as BTS just to get near them. V candidly explained that BTS started flying private because whenever they flew commercial, fans may know beforehand that we will be boarding and sit next to us or in front of us. He politely but firmly issued a request: we don't want you to do that, it's really scary. You could feel his sincerity. He was speaking as someone who just wants a bit of peace at 30,000 feet. This rare public plea was a big deal because idols often stay silent about sasaengs. V's decision to say please stop showed how fed up they were, and he wasn't the only BTS member to confront the issue. Earlier, Jungkook encountered a sasaeng calling his phone during a live broadcast. Jungkook didn't shrug it off. He declined the call and told viewers what happened by saying, "This is a call from a fan. I immediately blocked the call. Stalker fans call me a lot, so I have to block them." He looked visibly disturbed that his private number had leaked yet again. By openly talking about it, Jungkook turned an upsetting moment into a cautionary tale. He made it clear such behavior is not okay. Fans applauded V and Jungkook for drawing a line, but it was just heartbreaking to know that they can't even fly on a normal plane or answer their phone without fear. This is what made their candid remarks a necessary clapback, as BTS basically said to stalkers, "We see you, we're creeped out, and we're not gonna stay silent about it." And honestly, good for them. On the other hand, EXO's Baekhyun has long been vocal about fans who overstep, earning him a rep as an idol unafraid to call out creepy behavior. He's had multiple iconic run-ins, but let's highlight a couple. In one instance, Baekhyun was coming home from a schedule only to find two women lurking in front of his apartment building, waiting to ambush him. He recognized at least one and felt genuinely scared. That night, he took to EXO's private fan community to unload his feelings. He wrote an exasperated message: "I was really hurt. I'm begging you. Please protect my privacy, I beg you." You can feel how upset he was, using beg twice. It's rare to see an idol openly admit fear like that. Fans were obviously furious on his behalf and grateful he spoke up about the incident. Baekhyun also isn't shy about casually calling out invasions. On a bubble chat in 2023, he slyly mentioned after his vocal lesson, "Vocal lessons are over, but right in front of the place where I take lessons, I wish they wouldn't come." He even joked that he wants to escape like a martial artist to avoid the stalkers staking out the building. During another live stream, when his phone kept blowing up with calls, Baekhyun sighed on camera and revealed that sasaengs kept calling him, adding that he didn't even know how they got his number. Watching the live stream, you could sense the mix of irritation and disbelief in his voice. By consistently addressing the issue, Baekhyun empowers other idols and fans to acknowledge it. Whether he's sternly scolding or sarcastically joking about his ninja escapes, his message is the same: true fans don't stalk. Now how about a clapback served face to face? Enter Jackson Wang of GOT7. In 2019, Jackson had a heated encounter at an airport and it was caught on video. The backstory was that someone had leaked the home address of Jackson's family in Hong Kong, which was an extremely dangerous breach, especially amid political tensions. Jackson suspected a particular girl who'd been tailing him was the culprit, so as he's heading to his car, he recognizes her holding up a camera. He walks straight over and demands to know whether she was the one who leaked his address. The fan filming the fan moment is intense. The girl nervously sputters, "No." But Jackson isn't smiling or bowing like idols usually do. He's angry and not hiding it. The video of this confrontation spread fast, with fans both applauding Jackson and worrying for his safety. You can hear how upset he was, and justifiably so. Imagine someone endangering your family by leaking their location just because you expressed a political view. Jackson had every reason to confront that fan. His bold move also signaled that idols will call you out publicly if you cross a line. The airport moment ends with Jackson shaking his head and walking off, leaving the stunned stalker in awkward silence. As one commenter put it, "Bro, sasaengs are out of their minds," and Jackson was 100% done tolerating it. But beyond standing up for themselves, idols have also opened up in moments that broke everyone's hearts.
Get ready for an emotional ride, because today we're gonna shed some tears together. Here are the most heartbreaking things that idols ever said on camera. NCT. SM Entertainment chose a very special concept for the group NCT. They constantly add new members, create brand new subunits, and it looks like they even went to branch out into other parts of the world with their activities in order to make a whole new version of NCT. The boys from the band are really something. Not only do they have striking visuals, but they are so effing talented. It's hard not to stan. But just like any other group, even these sweethearts have been through a lot of stuff that didn't leave people's eyes dry. This might not come out as sad at first, but when you let it sink in, you'll totally see my point. In 2019, NCT had long-term promotions and activities in the US. They attended various shows, met with tons of fans, and had a time of their life. When the group was passing through Times Square, people gathered around them and someone kept on calling them BTS. Mark plucked up enough courage and said, "I'm sorry, we're not BTS." Now, that one hurt. Fans who were around them at that time started to scream, "They are NCT, get it together." And although the members of the group laughed, you could clearly see that they weren't so happy about this. Who would be right? After this incident, netizens quickly shared their thoughts on the whole issue. People concluded that it's the matter of ignorance, of people who don't listen to K-pop and consider BTS as the only group that represents the genre. Whatever the real reasons behind the remarks made in the US were, it's really sad to see your favorite idols not getting enough credit for their hard work. We're gonna stay with NCT a little while longer and mention another sad thing the members said. Jisung and Jaemin were only teenagers when the group had their debut, and so their lives were completely different from the lives of their peers at school. Both Jisung and Jaemin expressed how they really felt about the whole situation. Jisung once said, "I have no one to talk to at school, but it's fine." In one of his live sessions, he even said that he's happy to talk to his fans because thanks to them, he can learn how to socialize more. "I want to tell a lot of things to you. If you have concerns, just come. Except for my company, family, and my hyungs, I have no one to talk to. So I think I learned a lot of social skills through seasonings. But it's not all." While filming a show with Han Hyunmin, Jimin was asked what it was like to attend school as an idol. Jimin said that he was going to high school only for 1 year and then had to quit. He continued to talk about how he learned to make connections and friends at school, which leaves him with regrets because he couldn't attend high school. Hyunmin asked him if he meets often with his friends now, and Jaemin without a moment of hesitation said, "I don't have friends. I don't have any friends beside my members." The whole thing was sad, and you can clearly see that Hyunmin didn't know what to do or say because he felt sorry for Jaemin. Their life experiences were different, and although Hyunmin had his own struggles in life, he still attended high school. Honestly, these boys deserve the world. Sulli. When in October 2019, the sad news about Sulli's situation hit the internet, it seemed like the whole world stopped moving for a second. People from the industry started to speak up and voice their opinions about the struggles they were going through, and it made big headlines. And although many people, including Sulli's former bandmates from FX, tried to gather their thoughts and really understand what happened, it is nothing compared to what Sulli herself had to go through. She was an actual angel, a fearless woman who wanted to live life by her own rules and make art that would help not only her but also her fans, her family, and her friends. But she was met with a little understanding. When she was still among us, she was once asked by an interviewer, "What's your biggest dream, Sulli?" And without a moment of hesitation, she replied, "I want to become a mother before I." Unfortunately, this dream of hers didn't come true and she passed away too early. Sulli was getting tons of hateful comments online because she was regarded as a controversial by the public and Korean media. Small things like her posting pictures with her boyfriend or not wearing a bra would make her an easy target for online haters and trolls. During an Instagram live, 2 days before she passed away, people were leaving tons of malicious comments. Sulli tried her best to smile while saying, "Why do you say that about me? What did I do to you? I'm not a bad person." After this live, she made her last one just a day before she took her last breath. She was seen in her bed listening to Harlem River by Kevin Morby. Many people noticed that she was not her usual self. Little did we know it would be the last time seeing this precious angel. In one of the letters which she published on her social media accounts before she had passed away, Sulli said, "I get the feeling that life isn't meant to be lived alone. The world will never forget her." BTS. With the amount of success that BTS achieved, it's only natural that some sad moments have come too. The boys have had an amazing career so far, with hopefully many more years ahead. Let's look at some of the saddest and most emotional things they had to say. Warning, you are going to cry. In 2018, while accepting their award for the Artist of the Year at Mama, all the boys wanted to share a message with their fans. When it was Jin's turn, the whole audience started to cheer for the boys, and the emotions were just running high. Why? Jin's words made a huge impact. He said, "Earlier this year, we were quite tired mentally, so as we were talking, we even considered disbanding." At that point, Taehyung couldn't hold his tears any longer and started to cry. The man burst into tears thinking back at the dark times of the group. Jin continued by saying, "But we really got a hold of ourselves again." After that, he thanked all the members for staying together and keeping the good work. Jin also shared his love for their fans and didn't forget to mention how thankful he is. Although this is extremely emotional and leaves me crying every time I stumble upon that 2018 Mama clip, it's not the only thing that the members had to say that was really sad. Remember when Jungkook expressed his fear about the disbandment too? The maknae of the group said that, "What if BTS suddenly disbands? What could I do by myself?" When I thought about it, I realized that I have nothing. There's not much I can do. Whenever I think about it, I worry a lot. Sometimes, when I'm alone, there are times when I feel overwhelming fear washing over me. It's so wonderful that the boys still have such a strong connection with each other after so many years. Even if you're not a fan, it's impossible to not feel proud of them. Kevin from The Boys. In May 2020, the Kookielit Entertainment released individual videos of each member from their group The Boys, in which all their members were asked some questions. The purpose of these videos were simple, to get to know the boys better. However, fans were left extremely emotional after watching Kevin's footage. When asked, "Do you tend to hide yourself from the others?" he had some trouble answering without hesitation. Although he said no, he continued sharing more of his thoughts on the topic. Right after that, he said, "I can't lie. I suck at lying." Well, then the real deal came, and let's just say it made a lot of people cry. As it turned out, Kevin is not always a very happy, positive guy. This precious man said, "When I'm with people, I find myself pretending to be the version of myself that I think that other person wants me to be. That kind of gives me a little bit of daily stress." Yeah, many people related to him immediately, because that's something that a lot of us struggle with. Kevin also revealed that he asks himself what he should do, what he should say, and that he has problems with opening up to people, which eventually leads to not making strong connections with others. When the video was almost at its end, he had this to say: "The moment that I start pretending will be the moment when I've accepted myself. Hopefully, someday soon. Please, go and support the boys now. Not only Kevin, but the rest of them deserve it." Junghyun. December 18, 2017, the day that many fans will remember for the rest of their lives. On that very day, Junghyun, member of one of the most successful K-pop groups, SHINee, took his own life. The dark and sad history behind this event is absolutely heartbreaking. Junghyun had struggled with his own inner health, anxiety, and depression for a couple of years at that time. Online comments and nasty things that people would send him also didn't help the whole situation, and it resulted in the most unfortunate thing. When filming a show for Mnet in 2015, in an emotional moment, Junghyun revealed his true feelings. He said that in the past, he wouldn't show his real self out of fear. "I wouldn't want to show the real side of me because of the unfair things that people said about me. But I realized that it was impossible and tried to think what people thought of me in that manner." The never-stopping hate and harsh reality of the online world left Junghyun feeling lost and depressed. Similar to Sully's situation, Junghyun was a fearless advocate for LGBT rights and often shared his thoughts on political and social issues in the country, which made him a perfect target for haters. Things didn't get better, and his fans had a last chance to see him on his Instagram live. During the call with his fans, he shared his feelings, saying that he feels very tired lately and that he feels like falling into lethargy. Junghyun also told his fans that he had been struggling with depression and that he was looking forward to recovering. But his last words got a whole other meaning the next day. When it was already too late, Junghyun said, "I have to go. It's almost bedtime. Goodbye." One of his dearest friends shared Junghyun's farewell letter after the memorial service. Junghyun wrote that the depression got the best of him and took complete control of his whole life. However, almost at the very end of the letter, he shared one of his biggest regrets. "I guess I wasn't meant to confront the world. I guess I wasn't meant to lead a life in the public eye. That's why it was hard." Honestly, he will always be remembered. Girls' Day Hyeri. Hyeri from Girls' Day was a cast member of 2015 drama Reply in 1988. In one of the scenes, the character that she played found out that her grandmother passed away through a phone call. At first, it looks like Hyeri is just acting and doing her best to portray the real feelings of a person who has just lost a close family member. But soon after the drama aired, behind-the-scenes footage was released too. In the video from filming the exact same scene, you can see Hyeri being extremely nervous before getting into her role. As soon as her character received the phone call, she started to cry and had continued to do so even minutes after the director said cut. Well, as it was later revealed by Hyeri herself, she couldn't hold in her tears because her very own grandmother had passed away just a day before filming that scene. In an interview, Hyeri said, "The day before I filmed the scene, my grandmother actually passed away. The situation became reality, so it was very hard for me. One can only imagine how strong she really was to continue filming." The drama ended up being very successful, and it was the only thing that made Hyeri happy back then. Guhara. Another angel of K-pop had a hard time dealing with the pressure of the media and rude remarks of tireless haters. Guhara was a very good friend of Sully, and when she passed away, it was absolutely devastating for her. If you don't know, Guhara was a target of verbal and physical harm, and her ex-boyfriend threatened to ruin her career numerous times. He used to verbally torment her, and when the fight got physical, she fought back. Unfortunately, this was turned against her when the lawyers took this matter into their hands because her ex-partner said that she was the first one to pick a fight. Hara said that, "He grabbed my hair and pulled me. He pushed me with the whiteboard and threw the air purifier. I also scratched him in that process. We fought severely to the point that my body was bruised. She was the only one to apologize for her actions, but that didn't stop people from hating on her. Very few people idols stayed close with her, and one of those was Sully. It is unimaginable what kind of pain had they gone through. After Sully passed away, Hana went on Instagram Live where she let all of her emotions out and kept on crying. She said, "I'm sorry, Sully. I have no other choice but to say goodbye like this." During the live stream, she promised Jinri to live a happy life and work hard. But only 6 weeks after Sully passed away, the same thing happened to Guhara and was found unconscious in her own apartment. Both of them were like sisters. They supported each other and had nothing but love and understanding for one another. We can only hope that they're friends again as angels too.
And just when fans thought they'd heard it all, more idols shared their pain in ways that were even harder to watch.
The things I'm about to unfold might actually break your heart. From an emotional speech of SF9 to Loco telling a story about how haters got the best of him, you can only expect to get teary. So without wasting your time, let's take a look at some of the most heartbreaking things idols ever said on camera. Blackpink's Jennie. Jennie from Blackpink has been called many things throughout her career. Lazy, cold, shady, snob, ice princess, and many other names that are way worse. I could never mention them in connection with her. The amount of hate Jennie gets is just staggering, and one can only think that she is the target of ruthless remarks and nasty comments because of how successful and popular she's got. It's undeniable that Jennie is freaking talented, and what's more, that she's absolutely stunning, so when all these are piled up, haters got their next big victim. Obviously, this could take a toll on anyone's mental health, and Jennie herself struggled tremendously. During one interview, the members of Blackpink were asked, "You are still in your early 20s, but how does each of you imagine your 30s to be like?" All the other members replied by saying things like they want to be healthy, travel a lot, and do music, but Jennie said a thing that made many blinks cry. When she thought about her 30s, she had this to share: "I wish I'm getting closer to happiness. By that time, I wish to find the happiness that I dream of and get closer to it even just by little." There's no surprise that she wants to be happy, but leading a crazy public life of an internationally known idol might not always go in hand with that. All I can say is that I hope that she finds her true happiness and will do things that she's passionate about. Loco. In 2020, the rapper who's always full of positive energy and spreads love and cheeky smiles all around shed some light on a sad memory that he just cannot forget. In a video titled "You Asleep?", Loco joins young children and has a conversation with them before they indeed go to sleep. At first, he was asked by one kid, "Why can't you fall asleep?" and he replied by, "I think I worry too much." The kid asked him what kind of worries he had, and Loco immediately got really candid. He said, "I was recently released from the military. I worry about what I have to do to return to my previous self, to work more happily like I used to in the past. How can I make a comeback? Will people accept me again?" Now, if you think that this is emotional enough, get ready for the next thing Loco shared, because when I watched that, I had started to sob like crazy. The rapper asked a boy what was on his mind, and the kid said that his friends at school kind of mistreated him. That young boy said that he worries about it a lot and that he gets upset by it. Loco immediately started to think about a proper answer for the boy's worries, and his words were so heartbreaking that just repeating them makes me emotional. Loco said, "I think that's a complicated problem. To be honest, I as well have a lot of people who don't like me. Others tell me to not care about them, but it's not easy as it sounds, right? There was one time when I went on a website where there were a lot of bad words about me. I blocked that whole website, and that made me a bit happier. It would be really great if I could block it all like that." The fact that Loco was strong enough to share that he has a hard time dealing with haters only proves what an amazing idol he really is. Go and support him because he deserves it like no one else. SF9. We need to talk about SF9 and their heartbreaking speech on Kingdom after they landed on last place. If you don't know Kingdom, it's an Mnet show where various groups compete against each other. Each week, they have to prepare a spectacular performance, and this means that every episode they have to outdo themselves. Now, what happened that we're mentioning SF9 here? The evaluation of the show is low-key terrible and makes the cast members only shake in fear. On April 15 this year, the results of that week's performances were revealed and SF9 landed last. No one knows why, no one knows how, because their performance was simply amazing. The group got 444,444 points from the professional evaluation and 0 votes from the self-evaluation. When SF9 members heard this, they were left speechless and obviously extremely hurt. One of the members, Taeyang, reacted to this information with touching words. "If I say I don't feel sad, then that's a lie." After that, he continued with saying, "I'm sad, but we'll keep this as a stepping stone, and we'll make a better performance for the next stage." The other members in the group did not stay quiet too. Their emotions fully came out in the individual interviews. Insang said, "When I first heard about our rank, I was upset. Nobody voted for us in the self-evaluation. What's more, we heard the results in front of the other artists, so honestly, I felt ashamed. I was thinking, how did they feel about our stage? It must have been not impressive at all. Did they think that we're not good at performing?" He was obviously heartbroken by the results and said that although he tried to not show his feelings, he just couldn't help himself. Each member was visibly discouraged. It almost seemed like they really wanted to quit the show. However, people online came to the immediate support and stood up for them. Netizens think that the views of the show are biased and manipulated, and many go to such extent that they say that the show was made for 2 groups and the others are just some villains. The specific comments are, "I feel like you can see who the show is promoting," and And this is so obvious who the show is for. This just made me support SF9 even more. Stray Kids is Felix. We're about to go down a memory lane and cry our eyes out with this one. Remember the survival reality show Stray Kids had to go through because Chubby's strange ways of entertainment? Well, if you've watched the show and if you're a fan of Stray Kids, you must remember the time when Felix was eliminated and was told that he would not be part of the group. Chubby argued that it's because of his lack of Korean language skills and that he needs to work more on improving it in order to debut. Every other member started to immediately cry when they heard that Felix would not be debuting with them and that he's getting eliminated. Felix couldn't hold his tears either and ended up apologizing, saying that he is very sorry. However, the most emotional part came when Bangchan approached him and expressed his feelings too. He said, "Always find me, yeah? I'm not gonna leave you behind." The boys just kept on crying. Changmin, while hugging Felix, said, "Hyung is sorry. Hyung really is." And Felix, sobbing, replied by, "Why do you have to be sorry, Hyung?" I think it's safe to say that the conversation between Chan and Felix made all of us root for them even more. It's funny though that everyone thought that Felix would not be part of the group, and now his iconic line in God's Menu is the one that made Stray Kids go viral. Cooking like a chef, I'm a 5-star Michelin. Hits different and we all know that. Dreamcatcher's Gahyun. It's only appropriate to mention these amazing talented girls who have been doing nothing but a great job ever since their debut. Dreamcatcher are often referred to as the underdogs of K-pop because they have never won a single award with their comebacks. The issue is that they obviously deserve the awards. Their music is beyond original and they get millions of views with each comeback. They have won 2 awards so far, and those are one for Promising Idol and the other was Best Global Artist in Taiwan. Now, the members of Dreamcatcher all hope to win something one day, and that would be connected more closely to their comebacks, and their fans are always there to remind them of how much they love them. When in 2020 they released a series of videos titled Between Dreamcatcher and Me, we could hear Gahyun talk about this, and it was one of the saddest things I've ever heard a Dreamcatcher member say. While crying, Gahyun had an emotional moment with her fans during which she asked them for support and love. And after that, she asked a serious question. "You'll stick with us till the end, right? If you don't, I'll be disappointed." She couldn't hold it in anymore and started to sob. The sadder thing is that literally before the video was posted, Dreamcatcher attended a show with their comeback and once again didn't win. I think it's really time to give these girls some recognition because they work so hard, it's almost unbelievable. Let's show them how much we love them with their next comeback, guys. Simon Dominic. Simon Dominic is a big name in the Korean rap scene. Although he seems to be a super laid back and chill guy, he revealed in 2018 some of his biggest struggles that he has experienced because of being in the spotlight. When he was working on his album, there was so much pressure on him that he completely lost appetite and any desires. Simon said that he was totally drained from energy because he paid all of his focus to creating his next album. Because of this, he lost 5 kilograms in the process, barely ate anything, and didn't get enough sleep. Just a few weeks after the show Home Alone aired, he suddenly released a track called Me No J Park, which many thought was a diss track towards Jay. With this song, Simon announced that he would be resigning and stepping down from his co-CEO position of AOMG, and that he cannot take the hate and pressure anymore. Simon had been battling with depression for years back then, and when people constantly compared him to J Park, it felt like he cannot be himself, but he has to pretend to be someone who he's not. He recorded the song in one take and let out all of his feelings. Simon raps, "AOMG is all about Jay, then it's Loco, then it's Gray. Last year, their stack of papers were quite thicker than mine." Simon revealed that his work process is different from Jay's and that he constantly underestimates himself because of this. In this song, he also talks about how well Jay is doing while he's suffering. Simon said, "The weight of responsibility is tilting more and more. My stages have no conscience, just recycling a few old hits. Feeling thankful yet sorry to all the fans who come to watch." He revealed that it was hard for him to keep up with Jay's speed and that doing the business was simply not for him. At almost the very end of the song, Simon says, "I'm the most like myself when I'm a rapper. That's the only time I have faith." Ever since he had stopped down from the co-CEO position, he's been doing so much better. Simon is an epitome of Korean rap, and if you're not supporting him, what are you even doing? Uzi. 17's Uzi is an amazing music producer and one of the sweetest idols I've ever seen. He himself produces and composes the majority of music for 17, so we have to thank him for all the bops he has blessed us with so far. In his show 17 Project, he had an emotional moment during which he had shared how he truly feels about doing all of the work. Uzi revealed that he feels overwhelmed by all the responsibility he has to bear. He started to immediately cry while saying, "I actually feel very sorry. I need to write all the songs without anyone noticing. The situation becomes stressful. I feel so thankful for that, but honestly, for me, I feel like I'm the only one who will determine all 13 members' future. I feel so tired. I swear to God, I'm not crying. You are." Okay, I'm crying. Uzi continued by saying that he is so close with the rest of the group that he just didn't feel like he could mention it. I thought, if things don't work out for us, what should I do? I think he was very brave to share with us his feelings that he had been bottling up for so long. What an amazing artist and such a role model. We love you, Uzi. Twice as Chewy. This time, we'll not look specifically at what was said, but how it was delivered. When in 2016, Chewy struck a controversy by waving a Taiwanese flag, it seemed like her career was over. She was accused of supporting the Taiwan independence movement, and Chinese netizens turned completely against her. All the activities and promotions for Twice in China were immediately cancelled, and J-YP Entertainment had to make a decision. They came up with a solution in order to save the reputation of Twice and forced Chewie to film an apology video in which she would say that she does not support Taiwan independence. Back then, she was only 16 years old, and you could only imagine how terrified and scared she must have been. In the video, she looks so tired that many people thought that she was about to pass out. Chewie says, "There's only one China. China and Taiwan are one. I've been proud as a Chinese person." When she said this, she took a long break and it seemed like she wanted to start crying and only forced herself to hold her tears back. After the release of this tragic apology, thousands of outraged fans turned against J-YP. The apology was terribly written by someone from the label. I really cannot imagine what was going through her mind at that time. I still feel sorry for her.
It didn't stop there. Each story that followed showed just how much idols silently carry behind the spotlight.
From heartbreaking confessions of idols to devastating live streams that left fans worried for their lives, here is a third part of the most heartbreaking things idols ever said on camera. Taemin. Is it actually possible to not love Taemin? Not only is he an extremely talented singer, dancer, and performer, but he's so freaking hilarious that his live stream single-handedly saved 2020 and 2021. Before his enlistment at the end of May of 2021, he held his last live stream in which he confessed that he regrets not spending more time with his fans because he enjoys doing these lives more than anything. He got so emotional that he started crying after he said, "I think about this a lot too. I should have started to talk to you sooner and more often. I should have been closer to you. I realized this late. I realized this too late." The reason why I was so emotional was that you can see that he meant it. It wasn't just a memorized phrase, but his own words. But if you think that this live stream was the most heartbreaking thing, you're wrong. Just a couple of days before his enlistment, he held his last performance show. When he was giving his speech before his last song, he got extremely emotional. Taemin shared, "Please, stay by my side. I'm always so thankful that I have you. I know you're always thinking of me. I know I'm not perfect as well. I hope to give you more the next time I'm back. Please wait for me." I hope that Taemin knows that his fans won't leave him when he's in the military. Quite the contrary. We're counting days till his release. Woods. Many of you know Woods as a cheerful guy who has a very unique style of music. Well, you aren't wrong. He's all that, but there's something much darker behind his pretty smile. In 2021, his fans were left speechless when he appeared in the YouTube documentary show Welcome to My Boverse. During his episode, Woods talked about his music and career in general. He admitted that it wasn't all easy because the projects he was a part of failed too many times, whether it was a group Unique in which he debuted or him becoming a member of X1. The most devastating thing was when he actually admitted that he was Woods revealed that when he was at his lowest, he wrote a song titled Meaningless. In the show, he said, "I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but it was a song about..." Of course, this confession made many of us worried. During the episode, Woods felt emotional several times meeting strangers and his friends. He ended up crying and drew attention to how mentally exhausting the entertainment industry is. DIA's Somye. The most devastating and touching moment was once again a live stream that was held by Somye. The live stream that I'm referring to took place on December 14, 2019, and media outlets covered it immediately because it alarmed the whole K-pop community. Somye revealed that her company hadn't let her use social media for months and that she couldn't do anything. Not only that, but she said that the agency simply ignored her. Somye confessed that she went live in secret. "The connection keeps cutting off. Maybe because the company keeps calling me, I turned it on secretly. The company told me not to do live streams." After that, she said, "Because I'm ugly, when I rest, DIA will become more beautiful." It was totally heartbreaking to hear Somye say that she isn't pretty. "I want to look pretty in front of fans. I even did my nails, but in front of people, I'm scared. I'm nobody. But I really love my DIA members, so please give DIA a lot of love." The fans were really concerned because Somye admitted that she took some pills and many people thought that she was hinting that she was gonna take her own. The fans who were on the live stream later left comments on the online forum saying, "I was there. She did 3 to 4 lives because she kept losing her connection. She was crying and she kept saying, 'I'm sorry. I love you, and bye. I just hope she's doing better now.'" Girls' Generation. When it comes to this legendary girl group, I could pick many of their sad moments because they've had plenty of them, but I think we can all agree that one of the most devastating things ever was when Jessica got kicked out of the group. I guess it's a heartbreaking moment from the K-pop world in general. Although that alone was devastating, it's even harder to process when looking back at some of the things that the members of Girls' Generation said in the past. Especially this quote by the group hits completely different now. "If there's one thing we genuinely wish for, it's for all 9 of our Girls' Generation members to go together until the end." As if that's not enough, just connect it with what Jessica once said and you're gonna cry for sure. They say if you fall, someone who loves you will lend a hand for you. Here, I have 8 pairs of hands, always ready to hold me back up when I stumble backwards. I will never stop hoping for an OT9 reunion, and it's something I'll never get over. Wednesday. Wednesday was a Chinese cast member on the survival show Girls Planet 999 and the Chinese show Youth With You 2. Although she didn't end up in the final lineup of the group formed in Girls Planet 999, she gathered a large fan base. The most touching moment with her was when the contestants received video messages from their parents. When Jae got a video from her dad and got visibly emotional while watching it, she cried a lot, and after it ended, she turned her head up and while sobbing, she said, "Mama, I made it to finals." Her mom passed away and she wanted to tell her that she got so far in the competition. When I say I was bawling, I mean it. Renjun. It's safe to say that Renjun from NCT is one of the biggest sweethearts that we've ever seen. Not only is he extremely talented, but he's kind and always thoughtful. He puts others before him and makes sure that everybody is okay. However, he himself has gone through a lot, and I'm not even going to dip into how heavily mistreated he was by SM Entertainment. And who knows if he still is, but what I want to talk about is one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen. One time, Renjun was sending a video message to his parents during an episode of NCT Life. He commented on how his parents were worried when he went to Korea and that they kept thinking if he was healthy and eating well. He got so emotional that he had to stop talking for several seconds, and then while crying continued, "I think you don't have to worry about me because I'm fine here, because my members help me. And there's also Win Hyung, who treats me well, and other Hyungs treat me well too." After that, he told his parents that he loved them. The whole cast of the show was visibly touched, some of them even crying. Another time when Renjun made all of us cry was when he revealed that he was struggling a lot when he was younger. He shared that he even visited a doctor who introduced him to art therapy. Renjun said, "I was struggling a lot. I could have found a way to overcome it, but I was very young without any experience. To give you an example, it was like placing my hand on a hot surface and it was burning hot, but I didn't know." Renjun started crying and Jino finished it for him, saying, "You didn't know what to do. You couldn't find a way." Renjun deserves the whole world. Park Seo-joon. Although Park Seo-joon is not a K-pop idol but a Korean actor, I had to include him in here because what he said on camera made the whole audience sobbing. Seo-joon is one of the most famous Korean actors right now, but of course it took some time till he got to the top. At 2017 KBS's Drama Awards, Seo-joon won in the category Excellence Award, Actor in a Miniseries for Fight for My Way. At the same awards, he also won in the category of Netizen Award, and alongside Kim Ji-won, he won Best Couple Award. After he thanked everyone, he revealed that he promised himself that if he won that night, he would mention something. Full of emotions and on the verge of crying, Seo-joon shared, "Recently, my father told me that now people call him not by his name, but as Park Seo-joon's dad. That's what he told me." A part of me felt bad hearing that. I don't usually show my parents. The audience began to cheer for Seo-joon, encouraging him to speak because he couldn't help himself but cry. I'm not good at showing my feelings to them, so I'd like to do so at a time like this. Dad, if not for you, I wouldn't be here. I truly love you. I love you, Mom, and I love my family. I will do my best to be good to you. Seo-joon also mentioned that when he was preparing for his speech that day, he realized that there was nothing more important than the well-being and happiness of his family. Choa. The former member of AOA, Choa, made quite a few statements that truly left us crying. Her biggest struggle in life was mental health and finding a healthy relationship with food. At one point, Choa said, "No matter how much weight I end up losing, I'll never be pretty." It's sad to hear such words, and especially when they're coming from a beautiful young lady who is beyond beautiful. The pressure she was feeling was coming from the high beauty standards that the K-pop world puts on the female idols. After Choa left AOA, she tried to do some things on her own, but at the very peak of her popularity, she disappeared. This year, she revealed why that happened and what she was going through. Choa confessed, "I felt tired looking at myself, and I just wanted to run away." She also revealed another touching thing. "I thought to myself that to do as well as I wanted, I had to be reborn. I wanted to run away, and I thought that it wasn't the right path for me." Right now, Choa is doing much better in terms of mental health, and I hope that she has a bright future ahead. Jae from Day 6. Jae is someone we all know as a very friendly and funny guy, but it all changed when he revealed what he was going through. At the beginning of October this year, he went live and let all his feelings out. He exposed JYP Entertainment, saying that they pushed him out of Day 6 and forced him to go on a break. Jae said, "I was never the one who said I didn't want to perform. I was never the person who said I'm going to take a break. I've had that on my chest for a very long time." The live stream got heated real quick and the atmosphere rapidly changed as Jae was exposing more and more stuff he had to deal with. He even hinted that he was thinking about leaving the band. The most heartbreaking thing that left many people crying was when he said with a voice full of emotions, "I want you guys to know that I've done everything I could for Day 6. It's devastating to see idols fighting for their rights and having to clear things up because their agencies are ignoring them. Jae deserves better." Sinmi. When it comes to Sinmi, I could talk about a lot of things that she said that made us all cry. Whether it's her talking about her mental disorder or her remembering her dad. Before the show Girls Planet 999 aired, the mentors met together and Sinmi with Tiffany Young had had a face-to-face conversation. During this conversation, Simni recalled her rookie days and how hard it was for her to get through them. If you don't know, Simni debuted as a member of the legendary girl group Wonder Girls. JYP tried to promote them in the USA, and so they went there for various activities, even touring with the Jonas Brothers. But Simni revealed that it wasn't so easy. The words that hit us hard were, "I cried every night, all the time, because everything was so strange to me." Back in 2020, she opened up about how she was diagnosed with borderline disorder. "I left Wonder Girls to take some time off. At that time, I was dealing with mental illness rather than physical illness. I debuted as a solo artist. Then I promoted with Wonder Girls again. I left the agency and I had a lot of time to think about myself, but that time started to eat away at me." And she continued with, "About 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. That was what had been tormenting me so much. It was such a relief. After I was diagnosed, I got treatment and medicine and it got better." I think that Simni is a one-of-a-kind artist and she truly is a role model. Cho Hye-ryun. In July 2021, Korean netizens chose the most heartbreaking scene on a celebrity reality show. Although many of you probably don't know who Cho Hye-ryun is, this will for sure make you look her up. She's a Korean comedian, but her life story is far from a happy fairy tale. She was born as a 5th daughter into her family and her mother hated her. During an episode of What Is Mom, Hye-ryun met with her mother, who was so heartless that she actually told a story of how she tried to take Ryun's life. She literally said, "I already had 4 daughters. Then I had you, another daughter. Do you think I was happy to see you? I hated that I bore another daughter. So I placed you on your stomach and put a heavy blanket over you. And another blanket on top. But you didn't." I don't think I can even say anything about this cruel story. In South Korea, having a son has always been valued more than having a daughter. During the episode, Hye-ryun was of course crying and confessed, "I never heard my mother tell me that she loved me. She always scolded me, saying that I was wasting her money." When Ryun became successful, she bought her mom a house and supported her financially, but it didn't change a thing. When she took her mother abroad for a trip, she didn't even thank her, but said, "I would like to see this with my son, who I love the most." Many netizens expressed their surprise at how bad Ryun's mother was treating her.
Those raw words turned into unforgettable moments that showed the reality of what it means to be a K-pop idol. Even though K-pop idols are trained to put on their best performance and always look like the best version of themselves, sometimes human emotions betray them. Today, we will take a look at the most heartbreaking K-pop moments caught on camera. Tui missing her mom. Missing your parents, no matter what age, is a feeling that many of us can relate to. Especially when you've been far away from home for a long time, a small trivial thing can set you off and make you break down. That's what happened to Twice's Tui, who comes from Taiwan. In 2016, during the variety show Please Take Care of My Refrigerator, Tui and Jonghyun were given a dish, with Tui pointing out that it was just like the dishes she had at home with her family. She liked it very much. However, when the MC mentioned if Tui thought of her mom while eating the meal, Tui broke down in tears. This shocked not only the MCs of the show, but also her bandmate Jonghyun, who immediately leaned into Tui to comfort her as much as she could. Tui crying wasn't just a shock for the variety crew, but also for Jonghyun and all the fans alike, since Tui didn't even cry when they got their first win in 2016 with Cheer Up. Tui was just 17 back then, so the homesickness was even worse for her. She was then comforted both by Jonghyun and fans online. Even nowadays, Tui rarely cries on camera and doesn't allow herself to get emotional. However, she cried at the Japanese concert in April because of all the overwhelming love from all the fans, which then made all the other Twice members cry as well. 2018 BTS MAMA speech. This moment is probably known by every ARMY out there. During the 2018 MAMA Awards, BTS won the Daesung for Artist of the Year award, and the boys gave an unforgettable speech. A lot of grateful tears were shed on the stage, with everyone breaking the moment J-Hope started crying, but nothing broke our hearts like Jin's speech. Hearing him say that they were going through tough times at the beginning of 2018 and even thought of disbanding was shattering for ARMYs. BTS had their contract for 7 years, meaning that whatever was worrying them must have been big enough to consider terminating their contracts early. After Jin's comment, Taehyung started crying even harder. The tough times were written all over the boys' faces, and those times got immortalized in a song. During the 2020 documentary Break the Silence, Suga revealed that the song outro Tear was actually written for the members. He said, "When I was writing the melody, at the time we were deeply contemplating whether we should quit or not. The lyrics of the song are heartbreaking with verses like, 'We used to talk about forever, but now we mercilessly destroy each other. I thought we dreamed the same dream, but now the dream truly became just a dream. My heart breaks. Please, rather burn it so that the pain and my lingering love don't remain at all anymore.'" Suga also mentioned that when he played the song for the members for the first time, they all cried together. However, as Jin said in the MAMA speech, they they had time to reshape their views and could move on together. The shame there would have been if BTS disbanded would have been indescribable, not being able to find out their best years were yet to come. Park Bom visiting her aunt's grave. Showing raw emotion on camera while knowing the footage gets aired later takes an incredible amount of strength and bravery. That's exactly what Park Bom of 21 did in 2010 during the airing of their show Starry Night. In the video, the fans didn't only see Park Bom at her most vulnerable, but also got to know her heartbreaking story on her way to K-pop stardom. The video shows Bom visiting her aunt's grave and writing her a message that said, "It's spring now. I miss you so much. I've become a famous singer. I miss you a lot. I'm sorry I came so late. I love you. Park Bom." Pom's aunt passed away while Pom was promoting with 21, and she found out too late to make it back to the States for the funeral. After Pom puts the flowers on the grave, she kneels down and starts sobbing. Blackjacks all felt incredibly sorry for Pom, especially when she explained what her aunt meant to her. Pom wasn't supported in her idol dream by her parents, who wanted her to focus on her studies. But when Pom moved to the States when she was around 8 years old, she turned to her aunt, who was very supportive of her dream. Pom said that she was like a mom to her, raising her and driving her to auditions, and even bought the first microphone and cassette for Pom. However, when Pom was around 10, she mentions that her aunt's health drastically declined, and she passed away a few years later when Pom was already active in 21. At the end of the video, she added a message to her aunt. "I achieved my dreams and became a singer. Thank you for helping me and raising me. I will work harder to become an excellent singer." Despite Pom's career taking a different route than expected, we are glad that she is still an excellent singer she promised to be. 17's first MAMA performance. Fan wars are nothing new when it comes to K-pop, with fans beefing because of anything and attacking the disliked artist for no reason whatsoever. The most famous and public way to do that is to create a black ocean during an award show. To pull this off, all the fans in the audience have to unionize and turn off their light sticks when the disliked artist goes to perform, creating a pitch black audience. This is what happened to 17 during MAMA in 2015. Sadly, they're not the only artist to experience the black ocean, with Girls' Generation or BTS going through similar hell. What makes this even sadder is that 17 were only rookies, this was their first ever MAMA performance, and there was no reason for them to be boycotted like this. They haven't even been on the K-pop scene long enough to create any scandal, and their fans weren't fighting with anyone at the time. Since their fandom didn't have a light stick nor a name, they couldn't do anything when all the other fans turned off their light sticks. 17 got to suffer through the nightmare during their entire performance without any cheers or support, but still performed with enough enthusiasm. Some person wrote a sarcastic comment. 17's fans don't have light sticks, and other groups' fans are kind enough to turn off their light sticks. Nowadays, 17 are one of the biggest and most beloved groups out there, constantly being praised for their vocals and dance skills. The heartbreaking moment has been long forgotten by the group, but the fans will always remember it. Red Velvet missing Wendy. Hiatus of a beloved member can be hard for group members and fans alike. This is what happened when Wendy from Red Velvet suffered an injury during the rehearsals for 2019's Gayo Daejeon concert. Wendy fell from the stage caused by misplacement of prop stairs, causing her to be hospitalized and recovering for months. Her absence was very present in the group, especially when the Red Velvet girls started talking about her. This resulted in many tearful moments. During a segment where the girls were supposed to read letters, Seulgi burst into tears due to missing Wendy so much and calling her, while the other members teased both her and Wendy. Another time, Joy teared up at a concert as she had gotten a text from Wendy saying, "Do well in my stead." The realization of the absence of her bandmate hit Joy hard, and she started crying during their concert. She said, "Honestly, the fact that Wendy Oni, who has always been my mental pillar, is not here is difficult for me. Even so, like today, the four of us worked hard to fill Wendy Oni's empty space. Thank you so much for continuing to cheer us on." Wendy's injury wasn't minor at all, since the fracturing of her ribs could have caused her to never return to the stage as the amazing dancer she is. Thankfully, Wendy is now completely healed from her injuries and is back to taking the stages by the storm. Suli's final live stream. In 2019, the Korean industry got shaken up by the sudden passing away of the former FX member Suli. She had been struggling with severe depression and social anxiety for a while, but no one expected her life to end so soon. The last public recording was Suli's live 2 days before the tragedy. On the stream, she tried to be happy for fans, but there were many people leaving her negative comments. She said, "I'm not a bad person. I'm sorry. Why are you saying bad things about me? What did I do to deserve this?" Her final days being documented makes this even more heartbreaking, as it seemed like she wanted to be with her fans to the last moment. Suli had activities around that time, shooting a commercial and working on projects, so no one could have said what was really going on in her head. The truth is that Suli had been getting hateful comments and insults online her whole career ever since 2009, but finding out the tragic reality on October 14th really shocked everyone. Suli's impact on the industry is undeniable, with her being publicly outspoken about issues many wouldn't dare to even address, like the horrible online comments she received throughout her career. Guhara's online goodbye to Suli. The former Kara member was in Japan during the burial of her beloved friend friend Suli. So, as a public goodbye, she turned on a live stream where she sobbed while addressing words to her friend. She said, "Suli, I'm sorry I can't go to your funeral because I am in Japan. I'm sorry that I had no other choice but to greet you like this. Live well up there and do everything that you wanted to do. I will live hard and work hard for you. Everyone, Suli and I were really close. We lived like a real set of sisters. In return, I wanted to say something to Suli, so I turned on this live broadcast. Goodbye, Suli. Nothing can replace the hurt that an absence of a best friend can leave behind. The pain and suffering in Guhara's voice is evident, and the clip made everyone's heart break. Sadly, the world suffered another shock when Guhara was found in her apartment unresponsive a month and a half later. She left behind a note, but the reason why she decided to take her own life was threats from her ex-boyfriend, as well as the malicious online comments she was receiving. Some idols later looked back on those moments with regret, revealing how deeply fame and pressure affected their choices.
You know how I love to make myself and you guys cry. It's like a little therapy session for me and you. Today we're gonna go down and look at 7 times when idols express their deep regrets. Regrets of becoming an idol. Even though some idols strive to become successful and have regrets if they don't reach their goal, there are also those who regret becoming an idol in the first place. 4L's Yesol is a perfect example of that, since she had previously shared that being an idol wasn't easy for her and that the rules and the way K-pop works had taken a toll on her mental health. When 4L debuted, they received a lot of criticism for their overly provocative concepts. However, as it was later revealed, the members were forced to do these concepts and it wasn't their own decision. And as the members were getting hate for the decisions of their company, they were becoming gradually more and more depressed because this wasn't what they had dreamt about. Yesol shared that it was also the reason why she left the company. I thought to myself multiple times, do I really have to resort to such matters? I did not want to resort to such things any longer and decided that staying in the company held no future for me. That's why after thinking long and hard, I left the team. When talking about the criticism they received, she said, "At the time, I was in deep thought about my identity as a singer. We were under much controversy because of our shocking concept from the start, and it was hard to expect much from the situation." Regarding the outfits and the provocative choreography the group had to do, Yesol revealed her regrets, which are totally heartbreaking. "I felt like I was dressed in something that wasn't me, and it made working hard for me. The company wasn't forcing anything on me, but to survive, it was just something I had to do. The reality of the situation made me regret a lot of things. I think it's time for K-pop agencies to take their artists into consideration when coming up with the concepts. K-pop artists are human too, not dolls for someone to play with. No time to make friends. As you all know, becoming an idol is a long process that can sometimes take years. Some idols had to practice for 7 or more years in order to debut, and some only a few months. Of course, this means that many of the K-pop idols that we now celebrate and look up to didn't get a chance to spend their free time with their friends from school or to actually even make these friends in the first place. However, the situation gets even more complicated when these idols debut as teenagers, which is the case for a large portion of NCT members. For example, NCT Dream's Jisung debuted at the age of 14, but the story I want to share is about Jaemin from NCT. He admitted that he had serious regrets about not spending more time in high school because now he doesn't have any other friends other than his bandmates. "I'm regretful as there are social skills you can only learn in school. I don't have any friends. Other than my members, I don't have any. Because of the constant training, practicing, and then actual performing, he wasn't able to just hang out and have fun, and he could attend high school for only 1 year and then had to quit. If you want to be in this industry, you can't have everything. It's not easy going back and forth between school and work. But I think it's true how people say the friends you make during middle school and high school will last forever. But I don't have those kinds of friends. It's a shame." When I was looking into this more, I found a thread in which people claim that Mark and Haechan from NCT expressed the same regrets because they both debuted young as well. I can only imagine how sad they must feel about this, but I sincerely believe that all of them found a couple of friends in NCT. The unsaid goodbye. Before I get into this, I suggest you grab some tissues because I'm pretty sure you're gonna cry. When Suli passed away in 2019, the whole world was absolutely devastated. However, people who were the closest to her felt like their friend was suddenly snatched away from them. As many of you probably know, Suli was once a part of the group called FX. The rest of the group consisted of Crystal, Luna, Amber, and Victoria. They were all very close and supported each other even after Suli left the group. But when she tragically passed away, her former bandmates expressed their feelings, and Luna was one of those who showed her deep regrets about one thing, and that was not being there for Suli when she needed it. Luna shared that she regrets not visiting Suli before she had passed away, and she implied that she felt like she could have prevented it if she was there. In an interview, Luna said, "Before Suli went to heaven, she contacted me saying she missed me. She spoke to me informally for the first time in 15 years. She said, 'Uni, I miss you, Uni.' I really felt that she sent the message after holding it in for a long time, so as her Uni, I felt sorry. I should have gone to talk to her first. I should have at least said something. I should have told her I loved her more. But if you think that this is the saddest this part, hold on, because only a month after Suli's passing, Luna lost another close friend who lived with her at her house. Her friend's name was Lee Ji-eun, but many knew her as Sophie. She used to be a trainee just like Luna, but at one point gave up on her dream of becoming an idol and took a different path. Talking about her in an interview, Luna expressed how painful it was to lose her. She was family to me. She lived with me at my house and she was like my best friend. Life must have been too painful for her. I can't understand everything, but I know she was in pain. She was a friend who had many similarities to me. We relied on each other and promised to overcome everything together, so I didn't know she'd just leave like that. And then in the same interview, Luna shared how much she regrets that she was sleeping at the moment when Sophie decided to take her own life. Why did I have to sleep at that time? Why did I fall asleep? It happened in the span of an hour. I regret it and I miss her a lot. I cannot even imagine how painful it must have been for Luna. She truly deserves nothing but to be happy, and I hope that she can live her life without regrets. One last message. This story is so heartbreaking that no matter how many times I read about it, it just gets me teary. In the past, Sunmi revealed a lot about her childhood and how she became the head of her family. When she was very young, her father became extremely sick and her mother left them. She had to take care of the whole household, plus take care of her 2 little brothers and sick father. Sunmi admitted that her family struggled financially a lot and she didn't know what to do to earn money, so she thought that the only way would be to become a celebrity. That was her main reason for auditioning for different companies, and then finally JYP Entertainment signed her as a trainee. Sunmi moved to Seoul away from her father and brothers and suddenly had to spend most of her time training and focusing on becoming an idol. Mind you, Sunmi was in middle school at that time and her brothers were 12 and 10. The training process was frustrating and exhausting, which meant that she didn't have much energy to deal with what was going on at home. Sunmi said, "My dad relied on me a lot and sometimes whined at me. I've always replied to his messages, but training was hard. It was too much for my young self to bear. And then the most devastating thing happened." Sunmi shared this, "But then one day I received a message from my dad that stated, 'Dad is leaving first.' I didn't text back thinking my dad was just whining again, but he passed away the next day. He passed away 3 months before my debut." After Sunmi headed home for the funeral, she found a letter from her dad addressed to her in which he wrote, "Please be born as my daughter again in the next life." When Sunmi shared this story, she sincerely admitted that she regrets not answering her dad's messages. She said, "It still remains heavy in my heart how I didn't respond and answer his calls. Sunmi was so young, and I hope that she knows that this wasn't her fault." Only memories left. The success of Brave Girls with their song Rollin' left many not so successful idols and former idols dreaming about what it would have been like if their songs went viral and their group suddenly blew up. Of course, it's only natural that so many idols feel that tiny little feeling of envy, in a good way of course, since their goal is to become popular as well. When the former member of Nine Muses, Do Sera, reacted to the video of Rollin' on her YouTube channel, she got visibly emotional and even expressed her regrets about Nine Muses not being as successful as Brave Girls. Sera literally said, "I wish that could happen to Nine Muses someday," referring to the fact that Rollin' became such a smash hit years after its original release. At certain moments, it looked like Sera was on the verge of crying, and her emotions got the best of her when she rushed the outro of her video and quickly said goodbye. Sera even said that watching the video made her feel melancholic. The reason why is that she most likely still misses the days she could spend on stage performing for her fans. Sad thing is that Nine Muses disbanded in 2019 and never won any major awards and never got as big as, for example, Brave Girls. I can only imagine how painful it must be to watch other idols get more popular when your group already stopped being active and there's nothing that you can do about it anymore. Well, no matter what, Nine Muses are a part of K-pop history and they had their fair share of amazing music releases. The unsaid words. Sometimes we say a lot and then at other times we don't say enough. Taehyung from BTS knows very well what it feels like to not express his feelings. In 2016, when BTS held their fan meeting called the Third Muster Show, Taehyung revealed that his grandmother had passed away. It all happened when BTS had their activities in the Philippines. The BTS fans most likely already know how close Taehyung was to his grandmother since she took care of him and had raised him for several years. She was his support system when he was at his lowest, and so he naturally had one deep regret that he wanted to share with his fans. During the fan meeting, Taehyung started crying and said, "Grandma, I love you. I'm sorry. I wish I said it sooner." The audience got extremely emotional, but the rest of the group was there to support Taehyung during his touching confession. The lost time. Mamamoo Hwasa is also one of the idols who didn't get a chance to say a proper goodbye to her grandmother. On the show I Live Alone, Hwasa expressed that her biggest regret is not being able to spend more time with her grandma. She had been sick for a very long time, and so when she was taken to the hospital and passed away there, Hwasa couldn't be there because of the COVID-19 restrictions. Because of the COVID-19, our family couldn't visit, so all her family members were not at her bedside when she passed away. So that's what hurts my heart the most. What's more, all of this happened at the time when Mamamoo were having their November comeback in 2020. They were just about to drop their album Travel, and her grandma passed away 2 days before the comeback. Hwasa shared, "I had to stay strong and perform, or it felt like I was going to break down. I wasn't even able to attend the burial. Time passed so fast, I didn't have the chance to grieve. That's what saddens me."
Eventually, some couldn't stay silent anymore and decided to expose what was really happening behind closed doors.
If there is one thing that unites K-pop stans, it's their general hatred for the entertainment companies who don't know how to treat their artists right. But just like their fans, idols also have their moments when they can't hide how they feel about their agencies and the way they're managed. So for today, I prepared a list of idols who literally expose their companies. GOT7. When you look up idol shading company, most of the search results are going to be GOT7, and there's a good reason why. These boys used to wake up and go to sleep with the image of JYP going bankrupt, and honestly, can anyone blame them for it? Because with the way JYP acted while they were still in the company, I was convinced he was trying to sabotage their careers out of jealousy. But I'm glad to announce that GOT7 members probably dislike JYP as much as he dislikes them, and our boys aren't shy to show that any chance they get. Seriously, it's like they can't wait for people to bring him up just so they can trash talk him, and I support them every step of the way. From looking literally disgusted with looking at JYP, mocking his annoying voice, to making fun of him when he was in the room with them, it seems like their favorite hobby is shading their former CEO. Oh my god, does anyone remember that live stream when a fan was complaining about their coworker never listening to others' opinions and always seeking self-satisfaction, and they joked about whether the fan worked at their company? I can't with them, but the thought of JYP being an even worse boss than we already know of makes my skin crawl. God knows what the members have to deal with. Girls' Generation. Girls' Generation isn't the only idol group under SM who trash the company as civilly as possible, but they're the ones who were the funniest about it. Suho has talked about them not even bothering to book suites for the members when they were abroad. Amber said that she was mistreated during her time in FX, and Baekhyun even told the fans to attack the managers because they were asking the EXO members to turn off the live so they can practice. But the way Girls' Generation called SM out has me crying even now. Taeyeon once was offered a Shodi album to autograph by a fan, so she gave the fan a brand new album and called SM out for the amount of defective albums. Sohyun also publicly expressed her frustration at the lack of artistic freedom and elaborated that she had submitted 6 songs, all of which were rejected. Sooyoung also hilariously complained about her lack of lines, saying that she woke up and put makeup on just to sing 8 lines. If there's one thing I miss about SNSD, is how savage they were when they were together. The chaotic energy was unmatched, and K-pop needs them more than ever now. Stellar. On to darker things. Stellar's sudden concept change has a sad story behind it, and the company is the one to blame. After debuting in 2011, Stellar rose to fame in 2014 when they released a music video for Marionette, which was inappropriate for younger audiences to say the least. Both the music video and the group's new concept quickly became controversial, and Stellar received a great deal of attention for the provocative outfits and marketing tactics. The group eventually went on to disband in February of 2018. However, Gayeon revealed that the members of Stellar had not been entirely aware of just how provocative the music video would be. Gayeon said, "There was a scene in which a member spills milk. The script said the character misses her ex-boyfriend. She tosses and turns in bed. She wakes up in the morning and drinks milk. Later on, while reading comments, she realized that the scene would invoke a certain image, and she was extremely shocked. It was simply creepy to think what the company asked them to do. This, unfortunately, wasn't the only time the company blindsided them. They made them change their outfits for vibrato for more revealing ones. The members took the pictures but expressed that they felt uncomfortable about it. The company told them to change but ended up using the provocative pictures either way." Gayeon expressed, "Because of the contract that we signed with our agency, whenever we said, we don't want to do this or that, they would respond, don't forget about your contract with the agency." For a young person, that was scary. It's really disturbing to think about all the groups, especially girl groups, that might have gone through the same things that we might never know about. Props to Gayeon for speaking up. CLC. At this point, Cube Entertainment is a synonym for the word incompetent, disbanding iconic groups like 4Minute, losing Hyuna as a soloist even though she single-handedly kept the lights on in the company, kicking some of their most talented and all-rounded artists out of their company because of baseless rumors and because they were in love. The list unfortunately goes on for a while. But when Yejin from CLC exposed them earlier this year, we were all furious. When Yejin was revealed to be a contestant on Girls Planet 999, all the while CLC had been silent for more than a year, the fans were already suspicious that something was happening that we had no idea about. But during a segment on the show that highlighted her career as an idol, Yejin tearfully explained that CLC were dismissed as a group by the company. She said, "The company said the team CLC will not have any more activities. I really gave my all to CLC. The way they couldn't even give an official statement when Cheshires were left wondering what happened to their faves is frustrating. Not even that, but Yejin herself had to break the news to everyone else. That company deserves nothing good. AOA. This might be a controversial entry with the recent drama and all that's been happening lately, but hear me out. FNC Entertainment has faced criticism for how they've handled all their Jimin and Mina drama. To back up all the criticism, clips and videos that showed how uncomfortable the members had genuinely been with each other have resurfaced and left people wondering whether any of what the company presents has been real. There's also strong proof that could lead to believing that there's a chance that the company really did know about all that went on and chose to ignore it. Former member Choa exposed the CEO herself and said, "I really don't know him. He doesn't talk to you unless you are successful." Chanmi then added fuel to the fire by saying that the CEO didn't even know their names until they blew up with Miniskirt in 2014, which is 2 years after their debut. I'm not even counting all of the years that they had been a part of the company as trainees before their debut. So if he didn't bother to find out their names, we can safely assume that he had no clue about the serious situations happening between the members. This wasn't the only tea Choa spilled though. She also exposed the CEO's shameless favoritism, and when he tried to defend himself by saying it felt awkward to eat with his female idols, Choa said, "That's not true. He never bought us a meal, so we came up with a plan. We don't have a cell phone, so we left him a message on his car with a Sharpie." She was onto something that day. If that wasn't enough for you, the fact that 3 members left the group for similar reasons has raised quite a few eyebrows about the mistreatment behind closed doors. Blackpink. If anyone has a reason to run their company to the ground, it's the Blackpink members. They are the biggest girl group in the world and they have released only 21 songs in the past 5 years of their career? How? Groups that are much younger than Blackpink have a bigger discography than them. Not only that, but YG gives Blinks every other content except for music. We got an Animal Crossing Island, but not an album that's not 90% remixes of already existing songs. YG's priorities are obviously different from everyone else's. Jennie seems to think the same because at the end of a concert, she didn't want to say goodbye to all of their fans, but with their limited discography, the concert couldn't last as long as she wanted to. So Jennie, being the shady queen that she is, decided to go straight for YG's throat by saying, "I want to do like 10 more songs, if I had any." Fans grabbed this line and ran with it. This isn't the first time the girls had thrown shade at the company in the classiest way possible. Jisoo also hasn't held back when it comes to exposing how trash YG is when it comes to managing their money-making group. Towards the end of one of their concerts, Jisoo had to deliver some hilariously shady news. She started saying the announcement calmly. "From the few songs we have, only a few songs are left." Lisa is also known to have shaded the company on multiple occasions too. On one occasion, Lisa talked about her time as a trainee in Youth with Youth 3 after Lee Ronghao asked what everyone was doing at 18 years old. Lisa answered, "When I was 18, actually I debuted when I was 20. So when I was 18, I was stuck in the basement of the company, practicing. Imagine having one of our best dancers of our generation at your disposal and sticking her in the basement. Get my girls out of there." BTS. Saving the best tea for the last. BTS really should put the big hit shares they bought to use and become the CEOs themselves. Jin Hit has been an inside joke for ARMYs for years, but what if? Well, unlike the other entries, BTS didn't expose the company through interviews or by liking shady comments on social media. They actually made an entire song about how much the company sucks. Yup, they got into the studio and rapped about how much they disliked Big Hit while they hadn't even stepped on stage yet. Before their debut, BTS made a song called A Typical Trainee's Christmas, where they dissed the company for not letting them date and for making them practice during Christmas. They did that as trainees, okay? Who can forget the iconic "We can't love, so how do we write love songs?" And of course, Yoongi's verse that said, "Our boss isn't different, even 3 years ago. We've never had that dinner outling that everybody else has. This year, I'll either be practicing or sitting alone in a corner." Sure, they have a great relationship with the company now, but we need the old shady bang time back. Maybe they can make a song about Jin's lack of lines or screen time. But the fact that they were even allowed to release this song and that the song is still up must mean something, right? Which company do you think did their idols the dirtiest?
One of the most shocking examples came from KG, who spoke out about what she went through at JYP Entertainment. KG's departure from VCHA caught fans off guard, but what truly shook everyone was the claim she made about JYP's US division. Now she has laid all the accusations out clearly, backing it all up with solid evidence, and with that kind of proof, JYP is now facing a serious situation that's difficult to ignore or explain away. While her legal battle with JYP Entertainment is still ongoing, KG decided to speak out publicly. In a recent online online post, she shared a Google Drive of her court document and screenshots to support her claims of mistreatment during her time in Vicha. Among the files was a trail of evidence that painted a concerning picture of how injuries within the group were handled. According to the document, several members, including KG, were injured around mid-September 2023. One had back and hip pain, another twisted an ankle, and KG herself tore a tendon in her shoulder on September 14th. But instead of being allowed to rest, she says she was forced to repeat the same move over and over again, up to 100 times, by a dance instructor referred to as BM, who is believed to be Lee Bowman. She wasn't given time to rest, nor was she allowed water during the practice. It took 2 days for anyone in the company to arrange medical attention, not just for her, but for the other members as well. When they finally visited the hospital on September 16th, all of them received injections. KG says she was never told what was in the shot. She included a photo from her camera roll showing herself in a hospital gown that same day, along with receipts from the visit and a close-up of her shoulder showing a vaccine mark where she says the injury happened. Despite all this, KG claims JYP's US team showed no concern for her condition. She added a screenshot from a video dated just 2 days after her hospital trip, showing that the company still had her working, injured or not. Another photo in her post shows her passed out on the floor before a morning lesson on September 26th. According to her, the lack of sleep and non-stop training had pushed her to the edge, and she came to a point where she was so worn out that staying upright had become impossible. KG's leg injury came next, this time in November 2023. And just like before, she says the response from JYP was pretty much the same, dismissive. Though she did receive multiple injections and some form of treatment, rest wasn't an option. The situation got so serious that doctors stepped in and warned her about muscle damage caused by overworking. They clearly told her to stop dancing and take time off, but that didn't happen. Despite the medical advice, JYP staff reportedly pushed her to keep going, brushing aside the severity of the injury. To back it all up, KG shared a photo dated November 23rd showing visible marks on her leg from the treatment. She also included a screenshot from a video file showing her dancing just a day later, proof that she was still being made to work right after getting medical attention. Things didn't stop getting worse. In December 2023, KG suffered yet another injury, this time to her hip. It became serious enough to cause internal bleeding, reportedly from repeatedly doing a move that involved lying on the floor. Even then, she says JYP staff didn't step in to give her a break. Instead, according to the court filing, she was still being made to work over 60 hours a week. The environment was intense. The girls were often pressured to stay late, afraid they would be labeled lazy or not dedicated enough. One of the members was in charge of telling the staff when rehearsals would end, which only added more pressure. Back in November, KG says she pushed herself even harder just to keep up. Staff told her to match the level of Korean trainees who had stayed as late as 1 a.m., so she agreed. That day, she ended up training from 10:30 in the morning to 11 at night. More messages revealed just how deep the pressure from staff really went. On November 28th, 2023, KG had a conversation with one of the members who said the company had told them that anyone who didn't stay in practice as long as KG was simply being lazy. This made the rest of the group feel they had no choice but to stay late too, even when it crossed healthy limits. That same chat showed how the pressure started affecting their relationships. The member asked KG if she minded when others left practice earlier and worried that doing so made them bad teammates. It was clear the environment was making them feel guilty for setting boundaries, and possibly pitting them against each other. In another conversation, KG asked the members if they knew their schedule for the next week. Alex Huang, a JYP staff member, had asked her what she planned to do, and KG was worried that leaving practice early would make her look bad. She admitted she wanted to leave when the others did, but was scared Alex might be upset. One of the girls told her not to worry since they were already staying late anyway. Still, KG felt unsure. She said she was slower than the rest and needed more time, and feared Alex might report her to the company or label her as lazy if she didn't push herself harder. One member tried to comfort her, saying she just needed more time for the moves to sink in, but the anxiety clearly hadn't gone away. One of the clearest signs that things weren't okay came from KG's own messages to her mom. In them, she admits she's been staying at the practice room well past midnight and tells her how drained she feels physically and mentally. In one text, she says, "I go from morning vocal lesson to lunch to 5-hour dance lesson to dinner to Pilates or physical therapy, then back to dance training till 10 to 11 p.m., adding, "I need help." In a different set of messages, KG opened up to her mom about how intense things had gotten. She said that even sitting down for just 5 minutes was enough to get them yelled at by Alex. If anyone tried to rest, Alex would show up, question why they weren't practicing, and then report it to the company, apparently to make herself look responsible. The pressure also extended to what the girls could eat. While they were in Korea, JYP pushed them to eat only the company-provided salads. Technically, it was optional, but the message was clear. Refusing would lead to disappointment or judgment. In a screenshot of a group chat conversation, one of the VCHA members mentioned that staff had asked if they were eating the salads. She admitted she usually did, but added that she had to eat other things too because the salads alone weren't enough to get through exhausting practice days. Still, with their schedules getting even longer, she said she was thinking twice about continuing with it. The girls also shared how they were tired of eating the same thing all the time and wanted a change. To make them feel guilty, the company reportedly told them that not eating the salads would be wasting food. Things got worse when Alex told the members that gaining weight would only make dancing harder. In another conversation, someone from the company said their performances were weak and lacked energy, blaming it on the fact that they were dieting too hard, as if they weren't the ones responsible for it. Then there were the comments from staff like Won Jong-ho, who basically told the girls things like, lose weight or you'll regret how you look, and on another occasion bluntly said, don't eat. These remarks left the members anxious about food and made them feel guilty for eating anything more than what they were told to. Every month, the company insisted on measuring the members' weights, despite none of them agreeing to it, making it feel like the company was more concerned about their weight than their actual health. KG shared a screenshot revealing a hurtful comment from a staff member. KG believed the remark was aimed at one of the girls who was already struggling with an eating disorder. At that time, she was so consumed by it that she couldn't even bring herself to eat after 5 p.m. JYP's control over KG seemed to go beyond just the physical, with emotional manipulation playing a huge role. This wasn't limited to KG alone, as another member took action in December 2023, drafting a statement for JYP to address how the girls were being treated and point out the company's inconsistent messages. In addition to that, earlier in September 2023, a translator reached out to the group privately, revealing that JYP might intentionally be withholding affection to keep the members from becoming spoiled before their debut. This only confirmed the girls' suspicions that the cold treatment was deliberate. One of the most shocking details uncovered in the court documents was the company's restriction on the members listening to or dancing to music from any other label besides JYP. The constant fear from the staff was so overwhelming that the girls were too scared to ask for schedule changes, a situation that deeply affected KG emotionally. If that wasn't enough, in August 2023, the company staff informed the members that their training was in critical condition, pressuring KG to push herself further even when exhausted or injured. The staff controlled nearly every aspect of their lives, forcing them to speak only in Korean, despite some of the members not being able to speak it very well, regulating what they said in interviews, and even dictating how they spent their free time and days off. Overall, the level of surveillance was shocking, as it appears the company had cameras set up in their LA home to monitor the girls. KG only realized this over time when a staff member made offhand remarks that revealed they were being watched, mentioning things that happened in the kitchen and dining area after the girls went to bed. She discovered that the camera was positioned directly across from the dining table, giving the company a clear view of everything they ate. Additionally, KG found a sticker on the pantry ceiling indicating that area was also being monitored, and she provided photos of the cameras as proof. As for her initial accusations that one of the members had been driven to hurt herself, it was revealed that in October 2023, KG became deeply concerned after noticing troubling signs in one of the members, including binge eating, vomiting, and rumors of self-harm. She suspected the member was struggling with an eating disorder, and even more alarmingly, that she had been using a lighter to hurt herself. This led to growing worry among the group. Tragically, this member eventually attempted to take her own life. KG kept evidence of the situation but chose not to reveal the member's identity, wanting to protect her privacy. Despite the severity of the issue, KG's attempts to seek help were dismissed. When she spoke to the studio teacher, he revealed that JYP staff had misled him, telling him the member was only ill. KG even had a recording of their conversation, which she said she could provide if needed. She also raised the issue with another staff member, Eunji Song, but was brushed off with a comment that eating disorders were normal. KG's own mental health had deteriorated to the point where she was missing school, overwhelmed by her struggles. She reached out to staff member Ji-won Sung, telling her that she was thinking about leaving the group. Later that day, she also opened up to another member about the emotional toll everything was taking on her. Through their conversations, it was clear that the entire group was feeling the weight of the situation, with everyone struggling to hold on to their sense of self and confidence. By February 2024, KG was facing a financial crisis. She discovered that she and the other members were buried in a growing unclear debt, with JYP offering no transparency or explanation. The mounting financial pressure only added to the stress she was already under, and she began to feel trapped, as if no matter how hard she worked, she would never be able to escape the burden. This eventually led to a Zoom meeting with the VCHA members and their parents, where the group discussed the toxic environment they were working in. The members openly admitted they were being mistreated and even considered leaving JYP together. Their parents, however, expressed concerns about the consequences of leaving, particularly given JYP's influence. After the meeting, most of the remaining members chose to stay, while KG made the decision to to leave on May 19, 2024. On June 6, 2024, KG sent a text to an employee explaining that her decision to leave was based on her need to prioritize her mental health and happiness. She had no idea that this would lead to JYP threatening her with liquidated damages, which would prevent her from working, releasing music, acting, posting on social media, or using her talents to earn a living. The reason why KG prepared this declaration is that JYP had publicly accused her of making false and exaggerated claims while attempting to force the issue into private arbitration, so she wanted to show that whatever she was saying was 100% real. As of May 1st, the lawsuit is still ongoing and things aren't looking good for JYP USA. KG has presented evidence showing that the staff at JYP violated child labor laws by making the members work late hours. She also provided proof of the overwork, mistreatment, and inadequate nutrition the members faced, with the staff not only allowing but encouraging this behavior. And while KG's story stunned fans, what came out about TXT's pre-debut days proved that the system itself might be even darker than anyone realized. It's a known fact that the K-pop trainees go through a lot before they get the chance to debut. The competition is fierce, so they must do the most to stand out and secure a spot in debut groups, and all this demanding training takes a toll on their physical and mental health, leading to exhaustion and serious issues. The training conditions have gotten a lot better compared to second and first generations, but some things have remained mostly the same. So when TXT debuted as the junior group under Big Hit Entertainment, there were accusations of privilege. Being part of the same company as BTS, fans and the public believed that TXT would receive preferential treatment and a smooth journey into all the good things the industry had to offer: brand deals, photo shoots, collaborations, and even awards. The assumption that TXT enjoyed privileges due to their association with BTS was, at first glance, reasonable, with many people believing that they were pampered and instantly achieved success. After all, BTS had achieved unprecedented success, propelling Big Hit to new heights within the K-pop industry. Thus, TXT were often put in the shadow of their senior group, burdened with high expectations to replicate the success of BTS. This added a layer of stress and responsibility that was undoubtedly daunting for them, but this didn't matter to people. In their eyes, TXT would remain idols with golden spoons who didn't work as hard as others, and therefore weren't as deserving of their success. However, the harsh reality that emerged from a recent live stream from the members shattered these assumptions, raising questions about the treatment of TXT members and whether they were being silenced within the industry. On September 21st, Soobin, Taehyun, and Hyunin Kai went live on Weverse and revealed some never-before-heard stories from their trainee days. While the members were mostly joking about their experiences, some of the incidents appeared quite distressing considering how young they were back then. Soobin began by talking about how during the VMAs, he found some old 2017 photos of them as trainees. These pictures showed them fast asleep from exhaustion, and it made him feel a bit sad. Then they started sharing stories from their trainee days, each one of them more disturbing than the other. One of the stories they shared was about the diets they had to follow. It's not like we haven't heard stories about how idols would sneak out to eat food when companies would force diets on them, but this story that Soobin recalled was pretty heartbreaking. During their trainee days, there was a time when they had to stick to a strict diet. Back then, there was just a single room without a CCTV camera, and he took advantage of that one day when he couldn't hold back his hunger. Soobin said that as an impulsive decision, he made a quick run to a convenience store to grab some gimbap and drinks. Soobin knew that if he were to eat his meal in the company, he'd get caught, so to stay under the radar, he chose the room without the CCTV, which had a window instead. While he was pretending to do his homework and sneakily enjoying his meal, he had an unexpected feeling that someone might be watching. When he turned around, he spotted a rookie development team member observing him. Soobin went on, "Back then, it wasn't even funny like it was when I was on focused diet training, and dieting was hard for me, so that moment literally gave me goosebumps. Just thinking about the weight of constant surveillance and believing that you've discovered the only spot to savor a well-deserved meal only to realize that you're under observation there as well is heartbreaking. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Aside from the diets, it seems like the conditions in the dorms were horrible and it was incredibly dangerous to have people live there. Soobin thought back on the time when the ventilator and the air conditioner were broken in the basement of their practice room, which had caused the water to leak in the floor. This led to literal mushrooms growing on the floor. The members had talked about about this before in a previous live broadcast in March when Beomgyu and Taehyun had shared a similar story about the old Big Hit building. They recounted discovering a large yellow mushroom protruding from the wall, which Taehyun initially mistook for a sponge due to its color, but soon recognized that it was a mushroom and promptly removed it. However, to their surprise, 3 days later, the mushroom had returned to the same spot. The humidity in the practice room would also cause the mirrors to get fogged up, so the members were forced to wipe them down with a newspaper. The only way of getting ventilation in the room was to open the windows, but leaving them open in the winter when they had been sweating was just an invitation for illness. Soobin said, "At that time, I kinda really hated the company. I hated our teachers, but when else would we be able to experience something like that?" Believe it or not, mushrooms weren't the worst thing about the old Big Hit building. Taehyun revealed that there were also electric shock rooms in the building, which were hazardous on their own and caused him to get hurt once. But there was also a broken extension cord in the dorms, and Taehyun made the mistake of grabbing it. He was electrocuted, and this would have ended tragically if the other trainees weren't there to help him. Taehyun expressed, "I'm telling you, I'm still too scared to even touch just in case something happens again." It's absolutely horrifying to think how this could have ended just because Big Hit didn't replace a broken extension cord. If the lawsuit-worthy conditions of the building weren't enough of a burden on the members, the teachers in the company didn't make things even a little bit easier. Taehyun shared that during trainee evaluations, the teachers used to scold him for everything. If he were to practice a song differently from how he was supposed to, he'd get yelled at for going a different route. After the initial criticism, Taehyun copied it exactly the way it was, and instead of being praised, he was told, "If you're going to copy the original song like this, people are just going to listen to that artist singing. Why would they listen to you? Damned if you do, damned if you don't." But this wasn't the worst of it. Supreme Boy, one of the biggest producers in Big Hit, used to tell Taehyun that he didn't understand why he was being called a main vocalist when his voice had no charm to it. Then the following month, Supreme Boy would tell him that his voice is really charming. Talk about whiplash. However, we can agree that there are much better ways to give feedback to someone that young. It seems like the teachers were really tough on them and gave them a lot of contradictory feedback, which didn't help them at all. These poor boys already went through so much, only to have a bunch of grown adults picking apart at their skills as a technique of making them better artists. Then there were the power dynamics. Not between the staff members and the trainees, but between the trainees themselves. Hyunin Kai recalled a story when he, Taehyun, and Soobin were engrossed in their language homework in the dance room, while other trainees were deeply immersed in their dance practice outside the room. There was a small window in the room that allowed Kai to observe what the senior trainees were practicing. He noticed a specific move where they had to pull something and then come back, so in response, Kai spontaneously started dancing along. However, it appeared that the older trainees who were practicing outside had taken notice of his actions. Taehyun mentioned that they suddenly knocked on their door and requested them to come out. Soobin added that they received some stern words as the older trainees misunderstood their intentions and thought that the members were making fun of them. The incident didn't unfortunately end there. Kai wasn't aware that the other seniors had been filming a video, so he was naturally taken aback by their reaction. The atmosphere then turned tense, and the older trainees responded by making them all do planks as a form of punishment. Everyone was already aware of the strict social hierarchy that existed between trainees in the same company, as everyone was competing for a spot in the group and saw each other as a rival. But until TXT spoke up about everything, it was unknown just how unsafe trainees felt among themselves. Hearing all the power tripping that took place in the practice rooms, with the members being punished for lighthearted jokes, makes us all wonder about everything that happened that we don't know about, which makes us question a lot about things regarding Big Hit and their methods. Even BTS's Namjoon admits that the company tends to control, at least to some degree, what the idols say about their experiences as trainees. In an interview with El Pai, he was asked whether he thought the process of creating a group was inhumane. Namjoon responded by explaining that his company doesn't really appreciate how he answers this question, as he stated that he agrees with this to a certain extent, but reporters tend to frame his responses in a negative light. So what other things did TXT actually go through that we know nothing about? Mistreatment and neglect of this kind are wrong and should not become accepted as normal just because so many companies engage in such practices. When discussing the conditions that these trainees live through just to debut, it's essential to strongly condemn the companies and executives responsible for these actions. These executives encouraged and, in some cases, participated in child endangerment, which is highly concerning. It's good that Big Hit have changed their ways now, but there still needs to be some serious investigations conducted about the entertainment companies. Nobody deserves to go through this. Behind the fame are real people, tired, hurt, and still fighting to be understood. If you care about the idols behind the spotlight, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more stories that deserve to be heard.